So I'm going to go a little off script here. I sat backstage as these brilliant and beautiful young people performed. And, you know, oftentimes what happens in the world of education is that there's a space for an appreciation of the brilliance and beauty and magic of children, particularly black children, but oftentimes not attached to the academic and intellectual exercise. Oftentimes, educators are okay with viewing, appreciating, supporting, bringing to the stage young folks as either a preamble to or at the ending of an event, as though the entire event does not revolve around them and their presence. Oftentimes, in education, particularly for black children, their genius and beauty are relegated to performative, not intellectual. And Kayla and Shayla, I grabbed them and I said, come back up. And as I thought about the theme of this event, this idea of evidence in action, there's a misperception that the evidence for good academic work is in the output that young folks produce in written text or in form or in a test, or that evidence in action is some way that I can manipulate or present data points to show folks who are at the district that something's happening. And I want us, as we begin this conference and go forward, to understand that evidence in action is them. The very presence of children is evidence that we must have work to do beyond what we have. Their very existence, the expression of their art, their culture, their full selves is the exemplification of evidence that we have to move to engage in more action. Evidence defined by the available body of facts or information indicating whether a belief or proposition is true or valid. The available body of facts or information. Stay with me. Meaning that if you don't have the capacity to understand what is unavailable facts or information regarding a presupposition, you may think you have evidence of something and have nothing at all. It requires human beings to have the capacity to see beyond the things that systems have presented to us as connected to academic success. A rubric is available to you. So you utilize the rubric as a means through which you have evidence of the action of the work of children. What I'm asking you to do as we go forward here is to reimagine. Let's bring back last year and this year and pull it together. Reimagine the concept that sometimes systems don't have available to their brain, their capacity. You want to learn forward and move forward in your work? You've got to go forward having evidence of ways to engage in academic work that's not what's been given to you before. Learning, listen, you know, when you just in a room, you're learning. Stay with me. Learning happens in passive and tacit ways as well as overt ways. When you go into a space to learn, you just have to show up to the space and you're learning whether or not I belong, whether or not folks welcome me, whether or not they think I have the capacity to learn. By virtue of the contextual cues, young folks are learning from us what we believe in them about. When you bring them on a stage just to sing for you but not hold them up and see the magic of who they are, they're also learning I'm only appreciated for being a thin slice of the complex human being that I am. If the pedagogy does not involve the process of see the dance you saw on stage, can you see that dance in your math class? Y'all ain't ready for the work today, but you're gonna get it. Beyond just having it performative, can you see the fact that if they have the capacity to invoke something powerful in their performance for you, that maybe that's something that can be tied to academic stuff as well? And when we talk about evidence, we're saying evidence of things not seen. I'm saying that to do this work well, you have to have a radical faith in young people that the performative aspects of their self also has the capacity to engage in the academic and intellectual parts of themselves. And that's going to require you to learn forward, to view something that you ain't seen before. The radical imagination must be activated.